And you thought Donald Trump was having a bad day. Vice President and racist Care Bear J.D. Vance just enjoyed a hilarious 1-2 punch of humiliation this morning, and it's only midday. Can it get worse for the hillbilly Teletubby? Why, yes, it can. If you thought his apologies for Trump were bad, if you thought Vance's fighting with the Pope was soul-crushing, or if you thought the way the ladies of The View snapping their towels at him was just endless fun, pour a tall one and get comfortable. You are about to laugh out loud. That's next here on The David Reddish Show. Welcome, beautiful viewers. I'm David Reddish. Please remember to subscribe to our channel now if you have not. Also, if you're interested in some sexy David Reddish Show merchandise, follow the link in the description to our online store page. Or better yet, come out to QCon this Saturday, June 20th in West Hollywood to meet me in person and pick up some there. But okay, let's get into it. J.D. Vance is having a rough week. Though ostensibly promoting his new Pick Me, I Want to Be President memoir, he's enjoyed a series of embarrassments. For one thing, Trump's capitulation on Iran, which happens to coincide with Vance's vanity tour, has reignited memories of his papal feud earlier this year.
Trump posting just before midnight, will someone please tell Pope Leo that Iran has killed at least 42,000 innocent, completely unarmed protesters in the last 2 months, and that for Iran to have a nuclear bomb is absolutely unacceptable. The Pope has been outspoken against the war in Iran, calling Trump's threat to destroy a whole civilization truly unacceptable. Vice President J.D. Vance, the nation's highest-ranking Catholic politician, now telling the Pope he should be more careful when talking about theology.
In the same way that it's important for the Vice President of the United States to be careful when I talk about matters of public policy, I think it's very, very important for the Pope to be careful when he talks about matters of theology.
And folks, that dust-up is haunting him. Stick around. As an insult to both Trump and Vance, who think they deserve a victory lap after signing the Iran memo that basically surrenders us to the Iranians, eyes are turning to the Obama Presidential Library, which opens today. And Vance just caught the worst of that, too.
All right, you've been listening to Vice President J.D. Vance speaking about this memorandum of understanding between the U.S. and Iran, saying that the 60-day negotiating period starts today. So we're going to have more coverage of this White House briefing and the Knicks championship parade. You can catch all the action over on CNN All Access. Just use your QR code on your screen right here. And we now turn to our special coverage of the opening ceremony of the Obama Presidential Center with our Wolf Blitzer and Sarah Seidner.
Yes, you saw that correctly. The Vice President of the United States, while answering questions about Iran and current policy, got snubbed in favor of the opening of a tourist attraction, albeit an important American historical one, for a president who outshines both Vance and Trump in popularity, even though he has not been president for 10 years. How could it get worse for Vice President Scotchgard? Well, it just did. While appearing this morning on a New York Times podcast to promote his new book, Vance found himself owned by reporter Ross Donthat, and worse, he melted down when confronted about past comments. Take a look at this.
And so I have to take the opportunity to ask you, after God warned us both against it, how have you ended up as a Catholic convert vice president fighting with the Pope about the Iran war?
Because I'm not fighting with the Pope, Ross.
Okay.
And if you look at what I said, this is, in public life, you say things and sometimes you make boneheaded comments and sometimes you say things that are taken totally out of context. What I said about the Pope is I actually like that he offers his opinions. I actually like that he's speaking about the issues of the day and that he's an advocate for peace. What I say is the Pope is the leader of the church. He is thus the leader of the institution that preaches the gospel. He's an important moral voice, but he also does have a different role from the Vice President of the United States. My role is for the American people to try to apply moral principles in ways that get the best outcomes, that lead to the best things, and that balance competing interests, okay? And his role, I think, is to preach the gospel and to offer his opinions on how he thinks we're doing.
You were arguing to some degree in a very polite way, however you want to describe it, with the Pope about what were his critiques of the Iran war, even if they were couched in general terms. But based on, one, the excellent reporting of the New York Times, and two, basically everything you've said and done in public life, we all know that you thought the Iran war was a bad idea.
Wasn't that fun? Vice President Puffyface is stupidly doubling down on his attacks on the first American Pope, in essence, insinuating that he understands Christian Catholic doctrine better than the man that dictates it. First of all, that's unwise when trying to appear as a champion of Catholicism, which is the essence of Vance's new book. But more importantly, what kind of arrogance does it take to shame the Pope over politics, a man Vance is supposed to regard as God's steward of the earth? Like, how stupid is that? Worse, no, JD, if you're watching, it is not your job, nor is it that of any other vice president, to preach the gospel. This is not a Christian nation, and it never has been. Read the Treaty of Tripoli, one of the first treaties drafted by this country. Heck, Thomas Jefferson wrote his own version of the Gospels that removed all the miracles. The fact is, J.D. Vance, like so many other Christian politicians, is a demagogue, a man who wants to use Christianity as an excuse to hammer his political rivals and inflate his own ego. Jesus would not approve, nor would the founders. And this little dust-up with Mr. Douthat shows his true temperament, which I would call snippy at best, and it shows his true intentions. If Vance thinks he's launching a 2028 presidential campaign with all of this, he has another thing coming. Come the primaries, I suspect he will be out faster than he moves at a rooms-to-go sale. And he will be far less rug-burned. This is the David Reddish Show.